Good afternoon. I'm a little late with my Sunday thought today. Somehow or other, I got caught up with lots of other little things and finally said, oh, it is Sunday. And so today, as my Sunday thought, I'm talking, or speaking, I should say, about forgiveness. I've had an interesting personal journey with forgiveness. When I first was truly introduced to forgiveness was when I attended a seminar or talk given at a Unity Church in Vancouver by Reverend Edwene Gaines. Based on her talk, I was impressed in lots of ways. It hit me in my heart and it spoke to me. And actually, I went to a number of her talks in different places and actually attended her Mastery Spiritual Prosperity workshop and became a Master's Prosperity teacher, which I went on to write a little booklet about and everything else. But one aspect that she talked about was forgiveness. Now, when I first heard her say that there needed to be some forgiveness every day, I thought she was absolutely crazy, to be honest. One of the reasons why I thought she was absolutely crazy was because I had just gone through this real connection with the universal love force. And it was while I was in that energy, I came to understand and know that I was loved without measure. There was absolutely no judgment in there at all. So therefore, I was forgiven. And so when I had this understanding, I thought this was it. I was done. Didn't take me too long to realize Edwene was correct. That there are many things that we do through the day, a thought, a feeling, a holding on to a grudge, a resentment, a past thought of something where we had regrets. And so began my, you might say, more personal journey about forgiveness. I knew, and I still know to this day, that in my crazy life of all the things I've done, that I'm just loved. And if that's what I want to experience, go ahead and experience it. But I also know holding on to grudges and upsets and resentments and all of those things are not going to work very well. So besides Edwene's work, I also began to look at and study from other people and different concepts and different things. And began to find that I wasn't getting the inner peace that I wanted within myself. So then I kind of went back to my original teacher, Edwene Gaines's way of forgiving yourself every day. So I have spoken already about how one can go to bed at night and give thanks for all the things that they have enjoyed throughout the day, perhaps picking 3 things. But I also began to look at what had I thought or done and forgive myself for that. And that's when I began to realize when I forgave myself first, when I turned into that universal love force and experienced that, or just went into my heart, and I forgave myself for what I had done throughout the day that I had judgment on. Sometimes I speak without thinking. Surprise, surprise. But I do. And sometimes I can be a little harsh. And sometimes because I speak without thinking, I can say things that are not really, or doesn't sound as supportive as it could be. And at night, because at the time it didn't feel that way, but at nighttime when I kind of reviewed my day, which is a tendency I have, and so I would need to forgive myself for that. Or it could have been harkening back to something I had done many years earlier and, beating myself up, doing the old self-beat, bang, bang, bang on the head. How come you did that? You knew better. But I didn't know better because I wouldn't have done it. And that's the other thing, that when you hear, you always do the best you can, and it's absolutely true. All my years of experience have taught me that I absolutely do the best you can. It's only in retrospect you realize, I I didn't stand on my own 2 feet, or I didn't stand up for myself, or I didn't do the many things that maybe I needed to do. Or my little voice was saying, don't go that way. And I knew better. And off I went on that way, only to find that was not the best way. And I needed to have listened to the inner thoughts I was having. So all this forgiveness work started going on. And then I found when I had forgiven myself, it was very easy to forgive the other that were in my forgiveness routine. Instead of blaming, instead of feeling resentful, I ended up understanding, because I had forgiven myself so that I could see things from a different perspective, and I understood. And then, just to expand this a little bit more, I began, and because I have to add in there too, is that I am a past life person. I believe in past lives. I understand past lives. I know past lives. And in so many ways, I began to realize, well, the Akashic records are holding on to a lot of stuff. And so as I looked at my Akashic record, I look at other people's Akashic records to clear issues, but I had to look at mine, and it was a little bit thick than I would have liked. So I began doing this particular forgiveness prayer every night for some time. And it goes like this. I'm just going to read it off for you so I don't make a mistake. I forgive myself for anything I have done in this life or any other life. I forgive myself. Very short and simple, and I've always found that always works the best in lots of ways. And if I felt like I needed to go on further, I would. But it was really interesting. After doing this for not a great length of time, but some time, but pretty regularly, I went back and took a look at my size of my Akashic record, and it has shrunk. And that's when I realized, oh, I'm onto something here. And over time, I'm happy to say, as far as I'm concerned, it has shrunk. I'm sure there's still some things left in there that I haven't particularly looked at. And I don't know that we need to have looked at it or understand what that is. It is just having that honest intention inside to really totally sincerely forgive yourself for what you have done. Knowing that basic principle, at the time, you did the best you could. At the time, you didn't understand. At the time, you were not aware of maybe the laws that govern love, the laws that govern the universe and our world called Earth. And so it's just been, forgiveness to me has become a large part of my life as I move forward, and forgive myself for all my blunders and my things that I don't do exactly as in my perfection ideas it would be the best to do. Recently, a friend brought me, and it's something I have written, I ran off actually, because I want to just talk to you about it. It's part of the Edgar Cayce process, and it's called the 40-Day Forgiveness Prayer. It said it's inspired by J. Everett Irion, I-R-I-O-N. And if you Google 40-Day Forgiveness Prayer, it comes up. And what it says there is, say this prayer for 40 days without interruption. Start over if you miss a day. You will be speaking to the other person's higher self or higher consciousness and to your own higher self or higher consciousness. It is not necessary that the other person still be living. It is effective. And remember, you are praying to the higher selves. I really want to point that out. You can do forgiveness work for people that have passed on. That's quite often done. And basically here you say the person's name you're praying to. Thank you, blah, blah, whoever that is, for doing me all that you have done. Forgive me, da, da, for doing all that I have done to you. Da, da, that's the name. I am praying to you. Thank you, da, da, for doing to me all that you have done. Forgive me for all that I have done. That is a concise little prayer. And again, I want to reiterate a couple of things that doesn't state here is that allow yourself not just to be words. You need to feel this. You need to feel and know that in that forgiveness that it is. They have some other interesting elements of taking the forgiveness inventory, of knowing that was what it is there. And often in the day, it's certainly yourself. Release and forgive, and bring the face of the person to mind to say to that person, I forgive you and I release you. I hold I hold no unforgiveness back. My forgiveness for you is total. I am free and you are free. It's another little releasing and forgiving. And what they talk about is just doing an inventory regularly. I find I tend to do it quite regularly because anytime my thoughts keep going back to a scenario, I know I have something I have to forgive there, because otherwise my thoughts wouldn't be going back there to say, hey, something's not quite right here. Just some pointers. Don't tell the person whom you're praying for, if you're praying for them, or forgiving them, don't tell them, because talking disrupts the operation of the unconscious at a very deep level, and also it puts their conscious mind into sort of all sorts of things. The 40 days they talk about, and I have not done this, I honestly, but I just thought it was appropriate. It was brought to me not too long ago, and I thought I would share that. So you just don't hear my perspective of forgiveness, but also there is somewhere else that you can go to look at it. I just trust you have a wonderful day. Every day is a wonderful day, and that there is really no need for you to end up thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? So what I'd like you to, to know that you can contact me anytime through my website, which is normacowie.com, which is supposed to come up, and it's not coming up today for some reason, but it's really easy. It's my name.com. I would like your emails, or if you want me to talk on a subject or a topic, I really would like that. Again, I want to thank people who leave comments. I appreciate them. And I'm still experimenting with StreamYard, with the live streaming. I messed up last Sunday, not knowing that how to cancel something when it was showing me, because I didn't know it had gone live, and I found that out. But I'm looking at maybe going back to doing my bigger talks on Zoom, only because I miss seeing people being here and leaving. And you can leave comments here, but I don't announce when I'm doing these, and that may be something that I can start. I'm still experimenting, and I forgive myself for at times goofing up, not doing it as well as I would like, or perhaps not knowing some of the things that would have been nice to know. I just wish you all a very happy week. And we'll see you again on a Sunday Thought next Sunday. Blessings.